in-person speaking events. As she said, she's got a really fantastic talk that she wants to deliver to the Agile community. So I'm really pleased to welcome her on this one. She's an Agile and Tech change storyteller, and her talk is Agile dead or flatlining? Resuscitate it with storytelling CPR.
Thanks, Alex. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Now, contrary to my talk, someone's already asked me what I do here for Virgin. I actually, as Alex said, I work for Virgin. I am the storytelling company. Another happy coincidence is following on from the previous speakers, because everything that I'm going to talk you through here today directly aligns with what they've talked about. So here we go. So something a bit different here today, storytelling. But I want to first just kick off with a question for you folks. Who's heard Agile is dead?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I expect a fair few. Now, if you think Agile is dead because of commercialization, certification, we can solve that problem here today. If, on the other hand, you think it's because of senior leadership, lack of buy-in, lack of the right mindset, do you know what? I hear that again and again and again, year after year. And you know what? I think we're just going to have to wait for those folks to retire. Now, if, on the other hand, you think it's because of fatigue, resistance, constant changes, constant pivots, dates, replans and so on, scope changes, then perhaps Agile isn't dead, perhaps it's just flatlining. Now, I'm going to take you back a bit. I'm going to take you back to 2001, the Agile Manifesto. Individuals and interactions with the processes and tools. I'm sure that most of you have heard this. Fast forward to 2024, and Jim Highsmith, one of the co-authors of the Agile Manifesto, he's launched a campaign to go back to revisit the core values of Agile. He started this movement. Now, I've taken an extract from an article he wrote, How Agile Lost Its Soul and is Seeking to Get It Back. Now, you don't need to read this extract, and the essence of it is whatever it is that you're looking at, whether it's digital transformation, project management, agility, or AI, the spirit and soul of the Agile community has and can lead the way. So with that, I'd like to introduce storytelling CPR. Now, I believe that using storytelling, we can support Jim's campaign to revive the soul of Agile. And hope you will do by the end of my session. Oh, and some of the core values, collaboration, adaptability, purpose, and delivering value faster. Some of that all. Right, now I'll share with you 3 examples that I used to drive energy into the program, to change and to drive alignment and buy-in. These stories were very successful for me in the past. So first example is handling resistance. Now, I was working with a program where it was a global transformation program, and one of the changes that teams were expected to do was change their tool of choice. Well, the tool of choice was actually Rally rather than Jira. They were using Jira, and unfortunately, nobody seemed to wanted to do their training because they didn't like Jira. So, and this was a massive problem for the program. People weren't doing the training, and there was always just slowing down the program. So I interviewed the head of change, the head of engineering. He was an early adopter of Rally, and he talked on the benefits of Jira and Rally, what's working well for him, what benefits, and how it's working out for him and his team. It ran really well. It was shared through the usual comms channels and also through the Centre of Excellence. And it happened really well. Training uptake went up immediately, and the program was on track. So if you've got resistance in your organisation, find the early adopters, or if you're an early adopter, tell your success story. Second example, I was working with a program that was rolling out Agile to various teams around the organisation, and they were setting up their teams in an Agile way, so Agile formation of teams. And I was talking to a product owner who his team was working on a piece of work with a company in the aerospace industry. Now this was in 2020. 2020, COVID, lockdown, and aerospace industry obviously was shot to bits, and the project got canned. So now the product owner leading this team, he told me that thanks to the team being set up in an agile way, he was actually able to just lift and shift the team onto another piece of work really easily, really quickly, and no one lost their jobs during lockdown. So in that doing a story with the product owner and talking on the benefits of working in an agile way, being set up as an agile team, and being adaptable and flexible in what was, let's face it, unprecedented change in the global market. So cascaded the story through the comms channels to the wider organisation, showcase what's good about agile ways of working. It sets you up to be adaptable and flexible. And this also was to support a wide buy-in and alignment of the organisation. Next example is a delivery success story. Now, I worked with a product and engineer, and they told me that they delivered a new streaming channel to a client in Germany in just 3 months. And they told me that was because of pair working. So then I interviewed them both and did a story on how pair working works for the benefit of a wider organisation, and to explain how pair working works, because the engineer was working with a client-side engineer. They were fixing bugs and issues super quick, which meant that they were able to deliver the streaming channel in just 3 months, which otherwise would have taken 9 to 12 months if they'd not been working this way. So again, we shared the story wider with the organisation to showcase an actual delivery success story thanks to agile ways of working. So to sum up, I'm going to get you up on the screen. So really important I'll give you a second to read those for a moment. I need a quick sip of my orange wash. Yeah, so really important to share those stories. I worked with a delivery lead who actually said, if you don't tell people, how do they know? So find your success stories and use them to drive buying and alignment. Second question. Now, thinking about your current role or your most recent role, do your leadership regularly share updates on what's happening with the delivery of successes and where you are on the roadmap? Do they communicate this to the wider organisation?
Not really.
Oh wow. Okay, that's good. That makes my presentation relevant. So I'm going to share with you 3 examples of working with leads and some not so good practices, which actually aligns to the no show of hands. So I was working with a lead who was regularly late or just didn't show up to his own team updates. Not a good experience, not a good vibe. People were all lined up and gathered to hear from him, and this really isn't acceptable. There was always someone higher up the food chain that you had a very important meeting with. Now, your people are the ones that are going to deliver on your goals, on your outputs, so you absolutely have to, any senior leaders here, got to absolutely prioritise your people. And by the way, I did track him down every time. Another example, I worked on a transformation where the teams were located in different offices around the country. I went to visit one of them just to take a check with where they're at. And one of the teams told me, they actually asked me, who's leading the transformation? And I thought, what the heck? How is that even possible? And they said, oh, well, they never come to see us, they're in London, and not a happy team. So I played this back to the program director and ended up taking them on the roadshow, and it landed really well. They talked on the roadmap, the key milestones, and the end goal, and the teams actually came up to me at the end and said, you know what, now I've got a better view of the big picture, so that landed really well. And this example, so I was working on I was brought in to do the comms for a transformation, a big change, and this is what the program director said to me. This is the first thing he said to me in my first meeting with him. Well, guess what? No one gave a fuck about his deliverables. It was really, really bad atmosphere, teams working in silo, and not a happy environment. So to sum up, if you don't, and this actually reminds me of what the previous speakers were talking about, you've got to tell people where you're at, what's working, what are the successes, what's priority, and kind of add to this goodwill. Now when you're approaching go live date, release date, and you want people, you need people to go the extra mile, you need goodwill. And goodwill absolutely has to be earned. You're not going to get that naturally. Next question. Right. I think guess the answer to this. When the program hits a blocker, something goes wrong, something doesn't go quite to plan, do your leaders just get up in front of everyone and just say, okay, do you know what, we've hit a blocker? Or actually, even that, we actually got this wrong. But here's how we're pivoting, here's what we've learned, what we're going to do differently. Okay, no show of hands, interesting. Okay, still makes my presentation relevant, so that's good. So, make the pivots okay. Can't emphasize this enough. I'm going to share an example, a story here. So, I was brought into a transformation at the 2-year point, at which point there were so many pivots and replans. People, just were stakeholders weren't engaging with the delivery team, so I was brought in to raise awareness and drive engagement. So I joined this program. First thing I did was talk to 10 people around the company by the Coventry, and I asked them what they knew about the transformation. And they thought they'd either never heard of it, or they thought it was done. It was a tech change impacting everyone. They thought it was done, or they just thought it died. So I gave this back to the senior leadership team, and I thought, hey, how about we start afresh and do an all-company town hall, get everyone on level footing, give an update to everyone, where the transformation's at. And they said no. I was really shocked. They said no. They said, and so I asked them why. They said, if we communicate something this week and everything changes next week, I'm going to be stupid. And I just thought, there's so many things wrong with that. Where's the change mindset? I said, yeah, that's right. That's the very nature of change. And if something changes next week, then you communicate on that. So there was that, and then the other thing that can realise also is that they didn't feel safe. They didn't feel safe to communicate because they thought they were going to look stupid. And this is the senior leadership. This is actually the C-suite. So I was really shocked by that. And then there was the piece around not keeping people up to date, which is no worry. So it's no wonder stakeholders weren't engaging. Anyway, it took me months, many months. I won't tell you how many, too many. But I did manage to persuade them, and I actually organised it, and I supported them end to end, and I got the SMEs all lined up in front to handle any difficult questions, to make them feel safe. And they did it, and 75% of the company turned up or dialed in. And showed me, meaning that, people are interested, they want to know what's happening. And on the back of that, stakeholder engagement went up immediately, and the speakers, 3 members of the C-suite actually got really positive feedback from people, and the delivery team met their new go-live dates, and the transformation actually was a big success. And one of the things I also did was I got the C-suite to actually be open and transparent about change, talk about change, that's just the very nature of the beast, and to be okay with talking about a bit of short-term pain for a longer-term gain. It was a massive step change for them, but it did not very well. Now, in the absence of comms, or when it's done badly, I think we've all had this. News gets done anyway, everyone finds out everything anyway, or people start to second guess what's going to happen, which isn't good for the culture. And that starts to impact the culture, the environment, and motivation. And we've probably all had those coffee machine conversations where we go, what a bloody shit show. My dog could have delivered this for half the budget 6 months ago. So, leadership visibility and updates absolutely critical. Right, so I promised 3 actions for companies. So, no boring updates, and instead, comms isn't a tick box exercise, and I hear this a lot. It's just the odd email. That's not good comms. And instead, okay. I'm not sure what's going on with the animation. Anyway, be okay with pivots? No, hang on a minute, that's not right. It's skip slide. Let's do that. Basically, do the incremental updates. It's absolutely critical to do that storytelling piece, to share, where teams are at, what. I'm feeling it's in white, Chris. I think that's what. Anyway, I'll do it from memory. Yeah. So the incremental updates absolutely critical. Don't skip that. And be okay with the pivots. Okay. Okay, this has got a bit big on. I'm gonna. Oh, it's on my phone. Okay. Talk amongst yourselves for a moment.
Pivot.
Be agile. No, okay. I'm gonna leave my phone.
Okay, fine.
Unless you can get the